Hello there. Okay, I don't know what was going on with my mic, but I am glad to be back. The dark times, they are almost over, folks. It has been a long and dark period, I will say, as a Star Wars fan. No sound, I had a feeling. I apologize. Welcome back into the Lair, one and all. First of all, it has been way too long for since the last time that we have spoken and talked. I gotta turn down the music probably now. But the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer has officially released. I have not yet watched it, so I'm excited to dive into it with all of you. Welcome into the new Lair, by the way. I don't think we've even done a stream here yet, so welcome into the new place. Welcome into the official Lair for the next year or so. Your boy is hot because it's always hot in Mustafar, but it's so good to be alive. First of all, Smalls, good to see all of you in the chat, by the way. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe if you are new. As I was saying, it has been a little bit of a dark period in the Star Wars fandom, and I feel like I might be going a little harder than I should be today. I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I don't really know what to expect in terms of going into it, but I will say, as far as this movie is concerned, I do think there's a possibility a lot of people are going to be a little disappointed. I don't think that this is going to be just necessarily the huge movie that all the Star Wars fans are necessarily looking for, in a sense, to propel us into the future of the Star Wars universe. But I do think that people are going to be more pleasantly surprised than the online, reaction to what this trailer has been so far. With that being said, though, it is great to see all of you here. It is great to officially be back in the Lair. I know it's been a long time. I mean, since Acolyte, I feel like things in the fandom have been a little bit, I don't know about weird, but off in a sense. Like, a lot of us are waiting for more stuff, and it's just a period of just nothing. He's back! Let's go! Tim, it's so good to see you in the chat, my brother! I'm happy to be back. Don't get your hopes up. It's, however, a teaser. It is. And that's why I think a lot of people have kind of had somewhat of a backlash from what I've seen online. Again, I haven't seen it yet. I don't know fully what to expect, but I don't think that this movie is going to be like necessarily blowing people out of the water, especially with the first trailer. I do think that there's going to be some hidden teasers and things at the end of the movie or throughout the movie that are going to propel us into the future. I feel like a lot of people are kind of wondering, what's the purpose of this movie? What are they going to be setting up? Does it lead us further into the Thrawn narrative or more into the Ahsoka storyline? Or is it more of in a sense, one-off adventure that, from what a lot of people that are tied to the project and just in general that know a little bit more of leaks or scooper kind of stuff, like I'm no longer necessarily in that culture or in that space as much. I try to stay a little bit more away from the spoilers because I like to be pleasantly surprised. And I think if you are in that space, you have an idea of what this movie is going to be like, or at least what their approach is with this movie. Which, again, I don't think it's necessarily like balls to the wall, especially with how the Mandalorian season 3 ended. I think the way that season ended for the show, it kind of has set us up to be in a little bit of a period where we don't necessarily know where the next steps for these characters or for Din Djarin and Grogu necessarily are. And with that being said, I think that means that this movie, yes, might be a little bit more adventurous and more like a season into a movie in a sense, from the feeling that I'm getting from it. I know, stop and watch this. All right, I'll turn it on in a second. Just let me get this out. Because I have to. There's a lot to talk about with this, even though I haven't even seen it. It's been so long since there's been a movie for Star Wars in general, let alone another show. I mean, Andor was the last thing that it dropped, and congrats to everyone that worked on Andor and the entire the showrunners, the actors, everyone that was a part of that show. It was truly one of the best things that Star Wars has made since since Disney has taken over. And the Emmys that it won are truly well deserved. It's been an awesome ride to see the Andor Emmy run. But again, with this movie, I'm not sure it's necessarily the movie a lot of people are going to be expecting or looking for with The Mandalorian, but I do think it's going to be a movie and a more like a season that sets us up for what's coming. And in that aspect, I am truly excited. So let us dive in without too much further. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe. I'm going to turn on this audio. I'm going to make sure that the music is muted. And let us dive into the Mandalorian and Grogu official trailer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. Thank God I can hear this, because the rest of the stream has been really weird audio-wise for me. It's been a long time since I've streamed here. Oh, yes, my boy! Oh, I love it. Oh, whoa, are we seeing his perspective? That's cool. Hey, my boy. The Anzellans are back. That's great. Oh my gosh. Little Grogu seems to be coming so much more into himself already. Nope. No treats for you. Finish the mission first. Okay. Heck yeah. Hey, my boy is swimming. Zeb! Let's go! Oh, this... Woo! Impressive. Most impressive. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, that makes me feel so much better about this movie already. We know we're gonna see Imperials and Snowwalkers? This is crazy. Okay, I know it's just a tease. I wasn't a ton. Is there any... Okay. It literally is just a little tease to get us hyped for it. It's not the official trailer. That's the first thing I gotta note, because I definitely thought it was more of an official trailer the way that it's even worded here on YouTube. But that is more of a teaser in a sense, and I'm hyped for it, man. It didn't give us a lot for sure, but wow, like it's good to have it back, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this, even if it is more of like a fourth season than it is the movie that a lot of people are hoping for in Star Wars right now. Oh my god, Garrus Amarullos, for real, dude. With that though, I do truly feel like even if it's not necessarily the movie people are expecting or are hoping for that'll blow the tops off of all Star Wars fans, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's necessarily going to be that, but I do think it can get us back to that first and second season feeling and vibe of The Mandalorian. Not even that the third season didn't have that, but it is a little bit weaker than the first and especially the second season. Because that second season of The Mandalorian was when all the hype was there. Everybody was into it. And that's the one thing I will say about this movie that I am like all in for, is like these characters are truly great. They've done a great job telling their story so far. And I don't know how you can't continue to tell this story without people enjoying and being here for it in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it truly is some of the best Star Wars that they've made in years, in the entire time that they've owned Star Wars. So for that aspect of it, like there's no way this movie isn't just hype in terms of the fact that we're back, boys. Like, oh, since season 3, it's been a while that we've been waiting to kind of continue this. Even with Ahsoka season 1, I'm excited to see the next step in this story, and I'm excited to see where it goes, because I do truly feel like this is going to be a movie that leads us to the next stages of what the future of Star Wars truly is, and that excites me. It might not be all balls to the wall necessarily, but already this is the craziest scene to me. We're going to be exploding AT-ATs, and literally the fact that the Empire is in this makes me so happy, fam, because first of all, I've been the biggest Thrawn dude probably in the world since Ahsoka, and really since Star Wars Rebels, if you will. And with that being said, like it felt like this should be a movie to me that kind of propels the Thrawn story forward. I don't know if we're going to get any of that necessarily. With him being in the main universe, it feels like he should at least be mentioned. And I hope to God that he is. But right now, it is definitely a time where we're not necessarily sure where the story is going, and having the Empire be a part of it still, I think that's a huge crucial piece of what is going to be leading to this story, or like what this story is telling. Again, I don't know how involved the Empire is, but seeing those walkers, seeing how that is already involved, it makes me wonder how Thrawn's involvement in returning and how that kind of is shaping up in the main galaxy with him being back and Ezra being back as well. It just, that's another thing. I hope that we see Ezra in this. It's probably not going to happen. We're probably not going to see a ton of characters that I want to see, or that I want to see help propel the story forward. But I don't think that this movie is necessarily meant to be that. I feel like this movie is more to continue and bring Din Djarin and Grogu back into the fold of the story, where last time we saw them kind of take their exit for a brief period. Now they're entering back into the fold, and hopefully this movie truly, by the end of it, brings them fully back into it, especially if they are going to be fighting the Empire like we see, or with them fighting, blowing up the the chicken walkers. I love that the Razor Crest is back too. Real quick, let me just go back here. A new Razor Crest. That is beautiful. It makes me really sad because I was in a huge car accident a couple years ago, or a little over a year ago now. And that car that I was driving at the time, I literally named the Razor Crest a week before it blew up in the show. It was a bad omen because nearly died in a car crash in that car. But now that the Razor Crest is back, I'm like, scary. But also, it's super cool to see it back. I'm almost wondering what the heck happened to the N1 Naboo Starfighter, because that thing was really cool. Grogu was having a fun time with it. But yeah, rest in peace to the Razor Crest for real, Aaron. It's been so long. Let's get back into the Lair real quick. Let's see what you guys are saying too, because man, I'm hyped for this movie. Smash that like button if y'all are just coming in. The hype is real. I know it's not necessarily the craziest trailer by any means. It just gives us a little brief tease, but it's enough to get me really, really hyped. Getting back into the chat though, Stanley says, no squeezy. No squeezies are allowed, but hey man, the love is here at Vader's Lair. We got hella love for Star Wars and all the people in this community, so some squeezies are allowed. But with Grogu, no squeakies, my friend. No squeezies. People are tripping and forgetting Mando brought movie quality to a TV show, and now they say the movie looks like TV. It's so funny, Timothy. Best comment of the day so far, because dude, it's nuts. People are like, oh, this looks like the TV show, and it's like, fam, the TV show was already movie quality. What are we talking about here? Like, seriously, it looks good. I don't know why people are complaining, and I guarantee you, when you go to sit down in theaters, it's gonna look better than it is on your phone or on your TV that's not color graded properly. With that being said, though, again, I 100% agree with you. I think this movie's, people are bagging on it way too much from the first trailer. We're not going to get a lot from a teaser that's more than 6 months out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a teaser. You know what I mean? Sure, there was some footage that I think they showed at some of the events that wasn't in this trailer, and I feel like they could have added a little bit more, but it's enough to get the idea out there at this point, more than a little under a year in advance. And it's cool to see that we're back, man. The Razor Crest is back, and so are you. Let's go. I hope so, man. I hope we're all back. I hope that this movie brings us all back, because again, man, it's been a dark time in a sense for the fandom and for Star Wars, just with the lack of content and the lack of enthusiasm with the content. It feels like when the last couple of shows, I know Andor was definitely successful, although at the same time, getting my more normie fans, or the more like casual Star Wars fans, to watch it feels impossible at times, and it's a damn shame, because Andor again is literally some of the best Star Wars that they've ever made. So now if you're telling me that they're bringing back a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I feel like that's going to draw in a lot more people than an Andor show would necessarily. And again, maybe maybe this isn't the movie necessarily to bring Star Wars back into the theaters. I will say that real quick, just because of the fact I don't know if it's gonna, again, blow our tops off or be like the greatest Star Wars movie ever by any means. Not that it has to be, it doesn't. This just has to be a good Mandalorian and Grogu movie that brings us back into the fold and kind of continues the story. That's what it needs to be more than anything to me. I love the fact that we see Rada there at the end. Epic moment. I'm excited to see him in live action, let alone get his character returned to Star Wars, because that is awesome, especially for us Clone Wars fans. For those of us that saw that OG Clone Wars movie with Rada back in the day, we've been wondering where the heck has that dude been for years, for decades at this point. And he's back. Just like me, just like Star Wars. We're back, baby. Rada's back. And I'm here for it. What else do we got in the chat? Stanley says AT-AT cockpit looks like Rebels design, and back in the back Empire Strikes Back Return of the Jedi version. Straight up, I definitely noticed that a little bit too. I'm gonna even try to pull that back up here. We'll get it back up in the background so you guys can enjoy a little bit of that trailer as we are continuing to talk about it here. Star Wars politics, it is good to see you in the chat, my man. He says, was that Zeb scene going bam in the scene in the teaser? Oh yeah, dude, Zeb was going crazy. Zeb was for real going crazy. Real quick, let's just go back to that. Just look at it. Oh hell yeah, that is high key. Oh, I'm so excited for Zeb in live action, dude. He's one of the best Rebels characters in general. I love that dude. I think people that haven't spent as much time with him in Rebels, like the rest of us that have watched and loved and adored that show, for those that are more into the live action, I do think that Zeb is going to hit very well for them. I think that scene in particular is going to be badass for people that are kind of getting introduced to him for the first time. The Anzellans being back is freaking dope. I love how many of them there are. I love that Grogu is homies with them and he's riding with them. That's, I don't know what the context of the scene is, but I'm here for it. Grogu with his little homies for real. Alan, good to see you in the chat, my dude. He's hyped. I love it, man. The hype is real, and it's good to have it back, man. Even with, you know, some of the more negativity in the space, of course, with how it's been for a while, with the lack of content that's been coming out. Like, oh, it's so good to get even just a little teaser trailer, man. It's great. Glad you pulled through, bro. But me too, Aaron. Much love. What else do we got in chat? In Skeen's voice. Let's go. Let's go indeed. All right. Aaron said, hopefully some new fans will be inspired to go back and watch Rebels. Dude, for real. I feel like Rebels definitely has had its moment in the past couple of years, especially with Ahsoka coming out. It feels like it's got a little bit more limelight and love and respect that it deserves. It's one of the best Star Wars shows ever. But with that being said, I do think hopefully it does draw more people back into Rebels, like you're saying, but I feel like Ahsoka would have been more of the show to kind of do that. Even then, that's kind of what I'm really hoping for in this movie more than anything. Even if it's mainly self-contained and mainly kind of bringing Mando back into the fold, or kind of continuing his story so that he is back in the fold and in the picture when we get to this Thrawn fight and all the stuff that I believe is coming. Even if it does do all of that, like, it's exciting to get back into the story and propel it forward. I'm hoping at least at some point, like, we all know that they're good at keeping secrets with this show in particular and the movie. Like, they kept Luke a secret. Bo-Katan, I'm pretty sure, was a secret. Ahsoka was a secret. Like, I'm sure a little bit of that stuff got leaked, but I know for a fact the Luke stuff didn't, and Grogu didn't when he was back in season 1 when the first show dropped. Nobody knew about Grogu. It was the most well-kept secret, it felt like. So I've heard a lot of things that certain characters and people might not show up in this movie at all, which makes me wonder how it's going to necessarily tie into the greater Ahsoka Mandoverse, if you will, or how it's going to tie into the Ahsoka movie, or shows. And then especially with what's that show? Why can't I think of it right now? The kid show. Why am blanking on it? Skeleton Crew. I feel like Skeleton Crew was almost too contained compared to the rest of the Mandoverse, if you will, or Mandalorian timeline. It didn't feel like it tied in enough. So hopefully maybe Skeleton Crew is something that gets tied in and a lot of people aren't necessarily expecting. But I do feel like with how that story set up, it could potentially be crucial to this timeline and to this era that we are in the Mandalorian, or the Filoni-verse, or the Favreau-verse, if you will, Star Wars politics. That's a good way to put it. Wasn't Zeb confirmed for Ahsoka Season 2? Dave mentioned it at Celebration. That's a great question. I need to get back into the reports and stuff because it has been quite a while during these dark times since I've really stayed on top of all the stuff. But I do think that Zeb is probably going to be in Ahsoka Season 2. It feels to me like there's no way this movie doesn't propel us into the greater story that's being told here. I will say, in terms of the dark times and the fact that the lack of content and stuff that's come out, crossing my fingers that this movie is a huge propelling force. And I do think in a big way, and I almost feel bad for saying this because I'm such a big Filoni fan and I love what John and him are doing, but y'all gotta pick up the pace, man. Y'all gotta pick up the pace. I get it, Dave. I'm here for it. I know a lot of fans don't necessarily have the same perspective as I do in terms of long-form storytelling and the way that Dave likes to tell his stories in terms of taking multiple seasons to get to the point sometimes. Just how it is. By the time you go back and watch it all, it's so good. He's good at long-form storytelling, which is what he's trying to do with these shows. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the same 20 episodes that he could do like he had in Clone Wars or Rebels to tell a full season. Granted, the episodes might be slightly longer than the animated shows, not by much. It's like 35 to 45 minutes usually, sometimes closer to an hour, but usually in that like 45-ish minute range. Which, again, unfortunately for him, when you're taking 45 minutes for 8 episodes compared to 20, it's going to take even longer to tell your long-form storytelling. And in that case, Dave, pick it up, brother. We're waiting. Well, we're waiting, Dave. I'm just saying. Tim says, yes, he's confirmed for season 2 being Zeb. So that's going to be Real Rebels reunion. And I'm here for that, man. It was so cool to see Ezra's return to the main universe, if you will. Return from Peridia at the end of the Ahsoka show. So for me, please, man. Oh, please get this. The Rebels reunion. I'm here for it, man. I can't keep waiting, though. Hurry up. Seriously, though, I have faith. And I think that all of us should, because he does tell long-form storytelling excellent and better than almost anybody in the space. Regardless of Star Wars, Marvel, whatever you want to talk about, I think Dave Filoni is one of the best long-form storytellers that we have today in media. So sit tight. Let's be patient. I got to remind myself of that plenty of times now in the next 6 months before we get to May. But I promise you guys, even if Dave is taking a little longer than he needs to sometimes with some of this stuff, it's going to pay off in the end. And I trust where he's taking the story. I'm super excited. I promise you guys, even though it's been a very long time since we've done any streams or content, I've been slowly working on things in the background. And I think I've almost pieced together what is coming in the Filoniverse and what Dave is trying to do with this story. Because for a while, I was starting to get like the dark times were real, man. The dark times are really real. Because, I mean, for a while there, I was kind of wondering if Dave Filoni even knew what he was doing with Thrawn. And I'm still a little worried. I can't say that I'm not, because it seems like he's not necessarily going with the same vision that the creator of Thrawn, Zahn, necessarily has for him in canon. But we'll talk about that more soon. And with that, I do think that Dave knows what he's doing. It's just he's trying to keep it real subtle and real. You know, you have to know the full context of what's necessarily going on in Thrawn's life and what's going on, what happened necessarily in his backstory. to fully know what could happen in the future. And that's the thing, is like Dave Filoni might not even be going based off of his backstory at all, which is terrible if he does that. Please, Dave, don't do it. But if he does, oh my gosh, he's totally pulling the rug out from under of us. Like he's trying to make it seem like Thrawn is coming back. He's going to be the heir to the Empire. We'll see, fam. I mean, heir to the Empire, sure, definitely. You know what I mean? And that's the real thing. Is like, that's what I'm seeing coming in the next couple of years. It's like we're slowly leading to heir to the Empire. It's just, Dave, just don't take too long. Don't go too slow. We're all waiting. We see what you have set up here. We see what you're doing, Dave. But you're taking so long. It's like, are you sure you're doing it? What's happening here? Let's get back to the chat real quick. Alan C said, I'm hyped for haters gonna hate. You already know, man. The haters always hate, and that's just it. We got to keep that the positivity in the story flowing, because they can hate all they want, but when all of a sudden Luke drops at the end of season 2, nobody's hating anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. We all got to be patient. Aaron Tomato says, right, the 8-episode restriction can be a bit of a storytelling challenge indeed, and that is a real disappointment sometimes, that they stick it to like 8 or less. I get it, funding. It's these shows cost a lot of money. Just make sure that money is going to the right places and we're doing the right things with it. Tim says this is going to be like 2023, first Mando, then Ahsoka. Yes! Yes! Oh, I'm so excited. Dude, that got me hyped. Oh, he's picking up the storytelling. Don't worry, folks. Don't worry. And that's the other thing, too, is like Dave has been really busy with season 2, really propelling the story forward. Wow, he's definitely been a part of what's going on with the Mando and Grogu. I feel like this is more John's thing, and John and Dave are working together on it, of course, but Dave is really focusing on propelling the story in Ahsoka, while hopefully John is taking this story and bringing it back into the fold, in a sense. Let's see what else. Stanley says 8 episodes is fine, but you need to make them 50 minutes per episode, not 30 to 35. 100%. I've been saying that for years. And then you need to stop making us wait 2 to 3 years for the next one. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. I mean, at least they're giving us other stories in the meantime. But yeah, man, like while I am totally here for how they've been necessarily running it in a sense, and I'm even here for the like a little bit of the drawback of content, so that we can make the content that we're focusing on as good as possible. Like, I get what Bob Iger is trying to do with that, but at the same time, I feel like he overcorrected a little bit in terms of the fact we're not getting enough Star Wars content right now, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's just because I'm a Star Wars creator too, but we haven't done anything on this channel in months because there hadn't been shit going on. Like, come on now, like, it's really truly been quite the dead period of Star Wars over the last like year, and I'm here for the return. I'm here for the return of the King and Grogu. The return of the King is back, and I'm here for that, man. Looks like whenever an episode's said written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, those were the best Mando episodes. So this Mando movie is going to be one of the big fat bangers. Timothy, I couldn't have said that better myself either. Truly, when the two of them put their brains together, they make some of the best Star Wars in the Star Wars universe. Can't be said otherwise. So let's all relax, take our chill pills, let's just take a breath. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm here for it. All right. Star Wars Politics says, does Thrawn die in the books? If so, how and when? No, Thrawn does not die in the books. All of the books for Thrawn that are canon take place before the Mandoverse. So really, that's the cool thing about what they've done in terms of bringing Thrawn into the fold, is that we don't know necessarily where Thrawn's story is going from here. You could do a couple different things with it. He's not dead at all, though. So there are 6 making sure I'm holding the right amount of fingers. 6 canon Thrawn books, 2 trilogies. The first 3 are of his time during the Empire. Essentially, they cover his time from when he gets inducted into the Empire to literally just before he gets launched off with the Purgles and Ezra. So that's what the first 3 books of Thrawn, the canon books of Thrawn, cover. And they're excellent. They give you so much insight into not only his character and somewhat of his motivations for joining the Empire too, although you really see that in the other 3 books that I'm about to talk about. But you get so much insight into his time in the Empire. You get a little bit of a tease in terms of him and Palpatine's, in a sense, ideological differences. Although Thrawn is very, very, very... That's the thing about the books. Thrawn in the books, especially in those first 3, like, yes, he's with the Empire. He definitely... Hip, hip, hooray, Empire. You know, that's the vibe you get with Thrawn. But at the same time, the books reveal a different side to Thrawn that we have not seen in either the live action or the animated side of Star Wars as much. The books are literally the creator of Thrawn telling his vision of Thrawn in the canon. And so while those first 3 take place during Thrawn's period in the Empire, you find a little bit about kind of his motives for being in the Empire, and you find out a little bit of his, again, ideological differences with Palpatine. But then you go back to the first 3 books, or the other 3 books, which are prequels to those other 3 books. So you got 3 books of Thrawn that take place with him in the Empire. And then you have prequels to those that are another 3 books, 2 trilogies, fam. 2 trilogies of Thrawn in books. The other ones are prequels, though. They take place, they show his time during the Chiss, or when he was with the Chiss Ascendancy, which is his people. The Chiss are essentially beings that are, in a sense, legends to the people of the Star Wars universe, or even really the Chaos region or the unknown regions of the Star Wars universe. They're essentially a species of people that is more legend in the Star Wars universe than, I guess, most people don't necessarily even know about them, especially in the main universe, let alone in the unknown regions. They're more of just like a legend of these people that are great warriors and vastly intelligent, like Thrawn is. And so what you find out through that period, though, is what's going on in the outer regions of space for Thrawn and for his people. And you find out there's this incredibly great threat, not only to their people and to the unknown regions, but to the main galaxy too. And that's the thing. Dave Filoni has made no type of nod to that at all. And that makes sense, though. If you follow Thrawn's character, it makes total sense that you would get 0 nods. The very little, like, just a smidgen of a nod towards what his true motives might actually be and to what he's truly planning with his return to the Empire. Or with him being the heir to the Empire, if you will. But again, all of that is for another video. So subscribe, smash that like if you want to hear more about my Thrawn takes, because there's a lot to hear. There's a lot to go over. I'm excited for it, though, man. If Dave tells the story right, it's gonna be the greatest Star Wars story ever. And that's truly how I feel about it. Is like they could literally do a trilogy of Heir to the Empire movies. And do you know how freaking good that would be, man? It'd be excellent. It would be so excellent. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm hoping Dave is truly leading to with this long form storytelling that he's doing currently. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering, what's the future of Star Wars like? What's coming? Well, that's what I'm hoping is coming. And if Dave does it correctly, it'll be better than the expanded universe Heir to the Empire trilogy, which Alan just put in the chat. EU Heir to the Empire is my favorite, but I love all of them. I don't blame you, man. I have read the first book of the EU Heir to the Empire, the original, and it's really good. It's not bad. However, the canon Thrawn books are better. I haven't read the other 2 books from the Heir to the Empire, or the original Heir to the Empire trilogy, but I promise you the 6 canon books of Thrawn are better than the expanded universe books of Thrawn. And that's what makes me so upset, is if Dave Filoni pretends that paper isn't real, And you know what I mean? Like, he always just pretends that paper doesn't exist. He's just, let me write my own version. I get it. It's your characters a lot of the time, Dave, but this is not your character. Thrawn is not your character. I know you brought him back in, but he's Zahn's character, and Zahn is trying to tell a great, incredible story. So please follow that story, Dave. Hey. It's a great take. It's a great take. Brandon Tran, good to see you in the chat, dude. He says, hello, Vader's Lair. It's been a while. The Mandalorian and Grogu looks cool. It does, dude. It does. Even in the brief minute and a half of the trailer, or teaser in a sense, that we got, it looks great. It truly looks like a fun time. It looks like it's going to bring us back into the theater, and we're going to have a good time with it, regardless of how deep it kind of goes into the lore at this point, regardless of how much it furthers the Ahsoka and Mandalorian timeline, which I think it'll further it more than people are expecting at this point, at least for the people that are, you know, super tied into it. I think it's going to be surprisingly really good, though, as all the Mandalorian stuff pretty much is. Dave is like, Dawn is my sandbox. No, it's not. No, it's not, Dave. I'm sorry. You can play with them in the sandbox, but it's not yours. It's not your sandbox, Dave. Please don't ruin my Thrawn. Nah, for real though. Like, that's the thing. I'll be honest. Yes, with this whole the dark times that I'm talking about, the lack of Star Wars content, and even with my beginning of distrust with Dave in terms of his views of Thrawn and where he might be taking him, because I don't know for sure if he's taking him in the route that I'm hoping he does, but he should. And I feel like he's purposely misleading us into thinking that he's just not taking him in that direction, but he probably is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing with Thrawn, is like, he's to me, to give you a little spoof of what I think might be coming. Thrawn is not the heir to the Empire, in my opinion, that a lot of people are expecting, or that we've seen in the expanded universe. Because in the expanded universe, he is more of a true heir to the Empire, where he's kind of taking over Palpatine's kind of position, and he's trying to bring the Empire back into the fold. However, here's my take on the canon Thrawn, and what I think should be the continuation of his story. I already talked to you guys about that, unknown regions threat that Thrawn is preparing for, in a sense. They're possibly still out there, and he was in an entire different universe for who knows how long. Him and Ezra were out there for years. So now he comes back into the fold and could essentially take over as heir to the Empire, but I don't think his true motives are necessarily to become that heir to the Empire like he was in the expanded universe. And if Dave is telling the story correctly, hopefully, which, hey man, it's not my place to say if he's doing it correctly or not, but if he's doing it the way that the books have set up, and that almost all of the Thrawn stuff has set up so far, the heir to the Empire is not necessarily going to be his return and bringing the Empire back into the fold like he did in EU, but he might be using them as a means to an end, like he has been all along in the books. So we'll see. Hopefully that gives you guys a little hope and intrigue into where this story could be going with Thrawn when we do finally get that return and the continuation of the story. Hey man, hopefully the last thing that we see in this movie is just like, portions or remnants of the Empire figuring out that Thrawn is back, because that would be just, what a cliffhanger that would be. Hello there, Darth Lance, my good friend. It is good to see you in the chat. Good. I now pronounce you Darth Lance. Alright. Brandon Tran, was Superman and Fantastic Four First Steps good if you've seen them over the summer? Yes, Brandon Tran. To answer your question, I'm a fan of both movies. I liked both of them. I thought that they were great returns to the superhero universe, in a sense, for this year's movies, for superhero movies. They were great. I really enjoyed Superman. I thought James Gunn's take on it was fresh. It was enjoyable. I loved the crypto scenes. I'm here for that. interested to see kind of how he continues to bring in the story. I will say my one critique on James Gunn's Superman and what he might be bringing with the new DC universe that he's creating, I didn't feel like Superman was dark enough. Granted, Superman is a little bit more of a lighthearted character in the DC universe compared to a lot of other DC characters, but that was my thing, is like it felt a little too lighthearted for DC, if that makes sense. Like, it was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to hate on it. But I do think that there's like a little bit of grit usually that we get in the DC movies that we've gotten in the last 20 years that necessarily wasn't there in the James Gunn, which is fine. Like with Superman, that totally works, and you don't have to bring it to that same gritty or dark level that Batman gets to, you know what I mean, or some of the other DC characters. But that's ultimately it. Is it felt so lighthearted and upbeat in the sense that my only critique is like, you got to find a way to bring the DC universe a little bit darker, James, because that's the difference between DC and Marvel a little bit. Sure, Marvel has its moments that are very dark where half the characters in the universe die, or like we'll potentially see in the future, maybe an entire universe ending, which I'm here for. But it didn't feel dark enough in that sense. I will say Mr. T, fantastic character. Mr. Terrific was great. I loved it. I loved all of his scenes. To go into Fantastic Four First Steps real quick, incredible movie in terms of just for Fantastic Four characters and just movies in general. Best Fantastic Four that they've made so far in general. It felt the most true to the characters of the comics. The fact that they bring in Franklin Richards made me so freaking excited, let alone the fact that we see the interactions between Galactus and trying to find his replacement. But yeah, dude, I love Fantastic Four First Steps. The only criticism I have of Fantastic Four, so okay, I know it's been a long time since we made any content here, and I was trying to dive a little bit into the Marvel aspect of the media in a sense. I love Marvel. I'm trying to get more into Marvel stuff, and I might do more Marvel stuff on my other channel, Sheev the Wise. So go subscribe to that channel. But it was so good how they set it up, and just in general, I thought that they were gonna make Reed Richards turn bad. I'm not gonna lie, like seeing all the trailers, I had this huge theory that Reed Richards, and with Pedro Pascal playing him, he seems so, I don't know how to put it. He seemed off to me, especially in the trailers. Even in the movie, he seemed off a little bit, and it's more because Reed Richards is so smart that he, like he says in the movie, thinks about the absolute worst outcome and how he can get out of it, in a sense. And in the movie, it almost happens. And that's the thing. The one criticism I have of the entire movie, they set up Pedro's Mr. Fantastic to be such a great version of Mr. Fantastic that they're not even going to use, if that makes any sense at all. So in the comics, there's a version of Mr. Fantastic that's evil. And throughout the multiverse, he's one of the most evil and maniacal villains in all of Marvel, and he's called the Maker. And the Maker is an incredibly cool villain that I feel like if they don't bring into Marvel at some point, they're fucking up. And the way that they were setting up this Fantastic Four movie, and I don't know if you guys have seen it in the chat, so I'm not trying to spoil too much stuff for you, but they almost had a character die at one point. And if they actually had that character die off and just used like a different variant of her in the upcoming stuff, it would have hit and made it so much more impactful, and it could have set up the Maker to be Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic, which, oh my god, if they did that, it would have been better than what they did. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been even better. And I still love what they did, so don't hear what I'm not saying. It was really good. Yeah, Tim even said Fantastic Four was a vibe. It was like 80% perfection. It really was. All the stuff with Galactus got me super hyped. It was really, really well done. It was the best Galactus and best Fantastic Four we've probably ever seen. But I do feel like, and again, I know Marvel, I was just saying, is a little bit more upbeat, or, you know, I don't know about positive, but I feel like DC is a little bit of a darker universe most of the time. But I feel like they could have really gone to some great dark places with Marvel in this one too. And maybe that's just my fucked up mind at this point. Maybe I'm just like, make it all dark so that we can have some epic storytelling. But if they took Mr. Fantastic and made him the Maker, that would have set up the most incredible Secret Wars with a Maker of Mr. Fantastic, potentially another variant of Mr. Fantastic. You could have easily just stuck with the Maker, though, and had the Maker of Mr. Fantastic go up against RDJ Doctor Doom, and that would have... mic drop, chat. It would have been great. It would have been great, but that's not what they did. It's not what they did. Instead, we are going to get an epic Secret Wars, and you guys should definitely be excited for it, because I promise you the Secret Wars storyline is the greatest storyline in all of comics. That's my opinion and perspective, but I do feel like it is an objective truth to me. So again, I know that Star Wars has been in a little bit of a dark, or I guess lack of content period, where there's just not that much excitement and not that much going on in the fandom in general. But Marvel has kind of had that for a while too. I feel like Disney in general is just trying to figure out the next steps for these major franchises, and Marvel's figured it out. And I get it, a lot of people might see the shows that are coming out or some of the movies and not be as hyped as someone like me is. But that's because like a lot of the stuff I feel like that Marvel is doing right now is more like testing grounds for what's to come. And I know that might not necessarily make a ton of sense to everybody, but I promise you in a couple of years it will. Because Secret Wars is so good that all of the storytelling from the past like 5 years might not matter at all. Like, you might just go into the Secret Wars not necessarily like super hyped like we were for Endgame or even Infinity War, but by the end of it you're gonna be like, whoa, because it is that type of a big brain storytelling story. It's just so good. It's so good. So hopefully they do it right, because I don't know how you really can mess the story up. It's especially with RDJ, like, it's gonna be real good. It's gonna be real good. There's two things that I could not be more excited for as a nerd. Quite literally, Heir to the Empire, if they ever do it, and in the capacity that I'm hoping that they do. And then the other thing is definitely Secret Wars. Like, oh my god, Secret Wars is gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. All right, let me get back into the chat, and we'll probably get out of here soon. So much love to everybody hanging with us today. MCU OG, my boy, Star Wars MCU OG, it's good to see you in the chat, man. Much love to you. My only critique is Superman got beat down the whole movie. I get where your perspective is on that, and I definitely agree a tiny bit. But I also will say that some of it was more Superman being tactical too. I get you. Bizarro kicked his butt, but that's also literally a clone of Superman. Like, that checks out, and then he still whooped his butt in the end. But I get you. Some of the stuff with Superman wasn't necessarily like he was the god of the DC universe that he kind of is in some of the other media or comics in a way. Oh, dude, it would have been so cool, Lance. I'm telling you, man. Oh, I wish they did the Maker, because I mean they still could in the future, and I'm not putting that out of the question here, because the Maker is an easy, great story that they can do, and that's the cool thing with Marvel too. Like, I don't want to spoil it necessarily, but what they're leading to is a new universe. It's going to be essentially reset, but not fully. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be some characters that still continue on into the next fold. And that's the thing, is Marvel is built this way. It literally, for decades in the comics, they've been building their stories this way. And it all leads to Secret Wars every time. And the cool thing is they've only improved that story and the version of Secret Wars that they're probably going to be doing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be so good. The Maker would have been too cool, man. It's something that they were like, nah. And that's the other thing too. I feel like that tease with RDJ at the end was just such a tease. Oh, it made me so ready for the movies. But between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, I feel like Marvel's done a great job with movies this year, and it definitely gets me super, super excited for Secret Wars and the stuff that is coming, because it's gonna be good, man. Tim, yeah, Superman embraced the cheese. I love that. He also said when it was good, it was like perfect, but the ending was like and it could have used like one more action scene, but the parts that were good were so good. Oh my god, straight up, bro. That's truly how I felt about Fantastic Four in a lot of ways. It wasn't necessarily the perfect movie, but it was the best Fantastic Four movie that we've seen so far. And the good stuff, like you said, was super freaking good, dude. When they go to Galactus the first time, one of the best scenes of the movie. It's so good. It really, truly is. Brandon Tran says Star Wars MCU Superman's arc in his 2025 movie is him being more related and human and less intimidating like the Man of Steel. Yeah, I agree with that too. Man of Steel, like they had him breaking Zod's neck and everything, and Man of Steel I still love that movie personally. I think it's a great Superman movie, one of the best that they've made, but it is, in contrast to this, way darker. Like the Superman and Man of Steel is one of the darkest variations that we've got, where the Superman that we got in Superman 2025 with James Gunn is probably one of the most upbeat and like more like the OG Supermans, which I think is great, and it's a great nod to that. It's a great nod to Christopher Reeves. Truly, similarly to Fantastic Four, the stuff that they did good and in the Superman movie was really freaking good. And the stuff they did, all right, it was just you know what I mean? But a lot of it was truly really good. Last thing Brendan Tran said here was, I don't know what we expect with Avengers Doomsday in 2027, but I do hope RDJ crushes the role of Doctor Doom, because he's so OP in the comics. I think he'll destroy the Council of Kangs. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, that would be so cool. So Again, I'm not trying to spoil things. I don't think the movie's necessarily going to do it the same exact way, especially because this character is not even in the MCU at this point. But there's a character in the comics that's called Molecule Man. Now, Molecule Man in the comics is a character that literally can fuck with molecules, for a lack of better words. Excuse my language. But quite literally, he can manipulate and fuck around with molecules. And the thing with Molecule Man in the comics is that this fool is not like, he's got some mental blocks, to put it for lack of better words again. He's got some mental blocks that keep him from being extremely overpowered, or in a sense the strongest character in the freaking universe or the multiverse. But the way that Secret Wars in the comics kind of unfolds is that Doctor Doom and Molecule Man, Owen Wilson, kind of make this pact where, in a sense, Doctor Doom uses Molecule Man and all the other Molecule Mans throughout the entire multiverse, and figures out that the Beyonders, which are the characters that we see in shows like what's that one? Someone in the chat's gonna say in a sec, but it's the Beyonders. I'm trying to think of the damn show. It's the multiverse show. Why can't I think of it? This is why I do Star Wars content. But the Beyonders, though, in the comics, there's multiple of them at this point, and essentially what happens is that the Beyonders put and placed Molecule Man Owen Reese in every universe throughout the multiverse. There is a variation of him in every single. Thank you. What if? I freaking love you, Alan. What if? What if is where we see one of the few Beyonders in the MCU currently. I haven't even finished that show. I'm a terrible fan right now. It's been too busy. But the way that it kind of goes in the comics, again, Basically, Doctor Doom takes every single variation that's left of Molecule Man Owen Reese, gathers them up and puts them in this like essentially ball or cage, if you will, and hurls them at the Beyonders, because the Beyonders placed Owen Reese in every single universe as a bomb. Truly, that's why he's in every universe in the comics, is they were gonna literally, the Beyonders were kind of just fucking around in the comics back in like literally like a decade ago. And they were just like, you know what, let's just blow up the entire multiverse and use Owen Reese as like a nuclear bomb, because he's the Molecule Man, he controls molecules, he could do that. And so Doctor Doom in the comics figures that out and is like, no. The multiverse is already sort of collapsing on itself with all of the incursions that are happening in that point in the comics, which we already know incursions are happening currently in the MCU, which is epic. It's all leading to it. But what he does in the comics is he takes a huge ball or cage of these, Molecule Men, and hurls them at the freaking Beyonders and blows them up. And then he takes the power of all the Beyonders and brings it into himself, essentially. He quite literally takes their power and becomes the most OP, overpowered character in probably Marvel history. Which is how it all leads into Secret Wars and what happens with Battleworld. So I don't want to ruin too much for you guys, but that's just a little tease for what they could be doing in Secret Wars. Again, I don't think Molecule Man is going to be used in the same way, but Brandon Train already put in the comments, he hopes that Doctor Doom, because of his like he is in the comics in terms of his overpoweredness, he hopes that he destroys the Council of Kings, and that would be so badass, man. I feel like you still got to put the Beyonders in some aspect. I don't know how they're fully going to tell the cinematic universe version of the story, but oh man, that would be so cool to see him just like walk up into the Council of Kings and be like, yeah, boom, just blow them all up. Yeah. Star Wars MCU OG says Molecule Man is one of the most powerful beings in Marvel. He is, and he's super cool. No, Tim, no, don't remind me. Speaking of dark times, Tim brought up the Cloud Galactus. Terrible. Oh, just the worst variation of him. The thing about Galactus too is in the comics, like every single universe, depending on the species that you are, you see Galactus as the same species as you. So us humans see him as a human. So why the flip was he a cloud in the OG Fantastic Four movie? I will say too, I wasn't like super, like when I first saw the trailer, I wasn't super into the female Silver Surfer, but she's fantastic in the movie. I really liked what they did with her. Shala Khan, I think is her character's name. They did a fantastic job with that. High key, one of the best characters and like aspects of the movie. They did a great job. Galactus looked great in Fantastic Four. He really did. They did a great job with that. I'm so man, I love that dude. I love the MCU, man. I'm excited. Stanley says, I thought Kang was written out or they had recasted. He sort of was written out in terms of the Loki storyline, like now they have the time variant watcher dudes like kind of keeping track on the multiverse, making sure that no Kangs reappear in a sense. And then of course Loki kind of took his place in terms of the throne at the end of time. But I mean, he's not necessarily at the end of time. He's just holding the multiverse together now. Shala Ball. This isn't Star Trek. Isn't that Shala Ball? Is it Shala Khan? I don't know. Oh god. I know more about Star Wars. I'm sorry. I love the MCU though. Star Wars MCU OG says I suggest everyone read Secret Wars 1 and 2 from the 80s and then read the Hickman Secret Wars. Yeah, I highly suggest the same. Maybe on the other channel I'll try to even go over little like rundowns of them before all of it leads up to it, because I have so much hype for those movies that are coming out, man. It's gonna be so good. I didn't bring that up. Brandon Trent said the only thing missing from Fantastic Four First Steps was I wish we had more scenes of the Red Ghost and his monkeys since they were cut in theatrical release. I wish I knew a little bit more about those characters, but I agree with you. It would have been cool to see a little bit more of them doing stuff that didn't involve Galactus in a way, or some of their earlier expeditions. I think it was still great the way that they threw us in like 4 years of the Fantastic Four already kind of going on, and it just, I kind of liked how they threw us into the middle of it, just because it's a different universe. Which I also, that was the other thing. Props to them. I love that the beginning of the movie doesn't start like the typical Marvel movies with that, you know, the typical Marvel logo. It was so cool that because it's in a different universe, they had a different intro for it. And that to me was like, hats off, props to them for that one, because that was really a really cool little detail. Blink and you miss it kind of thing. And yeah, like I was saying though, the Red Ghost and the monkeys would have been cool to see more of, and in general more of their like earlier expeditions. But I do think that it was still really well done the way it was. And yeah, man, if you guys haven't read Hickman's Secret Wars, please just at least, you know, dive into a little bit, because it truly is one of the best comic stories ever. It's so good. It truly is. I think that's about it though. I know that we've been like on a total Marvel rant the last like 20 minutes, but there's still a lot to come in Star Wars. I promise you guys, I have been working on a little storyline for what I think is coming with Thrawn for quite some time. And hey man, if Dave does it right, there's no type of worries here for me. Like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm so ready for the future of Star Wars. I'm ready to get back into the theaters and see a Star Wars movie. I'm already talking to my homies about going to see it with them. So it's awesome, man. It's an awesome time to kind of get us back into the hype. It's an awesome time to return to the channel. So I'm happy to again have everyone here. And with that being said too, we are going to be trying to, I am trying to put it out there. I'm going to be trying to do some more Marvel stuff over on the other channel, because again, the Secret Wars stuff that's coming is so good. That and the Thrawn stuff, it's got me so hyped, man. It's got me so hyped. Last question in the chat. I'll get into a few more maybe. Are you also going to watch Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2 with Cal Kestis? I didn't know Cal Kestis was in it, first of all. That's how out of the loop I've been for the last year. I don't know when it comes out either. So I didn't necessarily have plans to. I haven't watched a ton of all the Lego Star Wars stuff that's come out over the last couple of years. I've seen bits and pieces, and of course I know about Dark Jar Jar. But maybe we will, because I'm trying to just do more stuff. There's not enough necessarily content to come out to talk about, so we kind of got to create our own hype and build stuff from that Dave Filoni stuff that I'm talking about here too. So with that being said though, I think that could be a fun thing for us to dive into together, so I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Timothy in the chat says Disney is working on a platform for all their comics combined, like Marvel and Star Wars combined. Ooh, that's cool. For like an app, that's badass. I feel like they've already had something with all the Marvel stuff, but with all of it combined, that'd be cool. I don't know if you're talking about like combining the stories either. That's probably not, but we have seen in What If that Vader's lair was in the background, so you know, shout out to the channel. It's been way too long for real. It truly has, and that's on me. But also, I have been struggling through the dark times to find content. No, I also did start up another channel. It doesn't have anything to do with nerdiness necessarily, more sports nerdiness. So if you're into sports, I could try to pin it into the link in the chat below. But go check out the Double Down Sports. It is my other channel that I've been doing with my brother in the last couple of months. We're starting up talking about football season. So go check it out if you're into some football and into sports, because it is a real fun. Thank you, Tim. You're the GOAT. It's a real fun channel, and we've been trying to do a lot over there, and that is part of why I haven't been around these parts as much. But with this trailer coming back, I do want to try to get the content going a little bit more consistently. I want to get us talking about this Thrawn stuff because I have a lot to say, if you guys haven't already figured that out. There's a lot of good coming, though. I am super excited for the next couple of years of both Star Wars and Marvel. I think that the movies that are on their way and the shows are going to be better than most people expect, especially in the Star Wars aspect. Like, again, I know there was a lot of backlash with this trailer coming out online, it seemed like, and I'm with you, Tim, a little bit, you know, like, F the fandom. No, I'm just kidding. Look, y'all, I love this fandom, even with our negativity and toxicity at times. Let's try to remember to make it a positive and good space that it is, though, man. There's a lot of greatness to Star Wars and the people that are fans within it. You know, a lot of us have that light side within us, and that's the most important thing to carry on with Star Wars and being fans of the. I know there's some dark times. I know sometimes shows don't necessarily hit the way that all of us want to or expect it to. I know that sometimes even, you know, there hasn't been movies in years. But that's kind of always how Star Wars has originally been. Is it takes a couple years to get those movies going, and I do think with the kind of break that they've been taking, that they're probably focused heavily on the stories that they're continuing to create for the future, and that excites me a ton. So go check out Double Down in the chat. Tim has put it in there. I'm going to try to pin it. It's already pinned up. So go check that out. Brandon Trent said it's all good. Star Wars is looking really good with the Mandalorian. Rada the Hutt, a.k.a. Stinky, is back. Yeah. And I'm feeling a little sweaty and stinky in here myself. So we got a couple stinkies back. Star Wars fans will never agree on anything or be happy about anything. Us fans, I should say. As a whole, yes. As a whole, sure. I generally try to enjoy my Star Wars, though. I mean, that's the whole point. It's content, man. It's got some great hidden truths in terms of the real world that is like layered throughout the entire medium, especially in Andor. My God, Andor season 2, especially the way it mirrors real world right now is just nuts. Anyway, though, I appreciate every single one of you guys. It is a great time to be back in the fandom. It is a great time to be back into Star Wars. Make sure to smash that like, subscribe. We got a lot more stuff to talk about here in the future. Much love to everybody in the comments, and if you're watching on the replay, much love to you as well. Make sure to spread the love that you got for your loved ones. Make sure to tell everyone that you care about them. You never know how much time you have left in this world, and in that sense, I'm happy to be spending my time here with you. Love y'all. I hope to see you soon. We will definitely have some more content coming. Smash that like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Hey, yo, real quick, real quick, before we go. May the force be with all of you as well. I hope it was beautiful, because there's a lot of goodness and positivity to spread in this world. And that's what we're trying to do here at Vader's Lair. Y'all are some beautiful people in the chat. And Star Wars is about to be entering a renaissance. Damn it!